আচ্ছা, আমরা 26 জন আছি এখন অবধি। আমরা কি শুরু করবো আজকের সিরিজটা, লেকচার সিরিজটা?
শুরু করো।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে। Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you on day 6 of our online lecture series, organized in celebration of World Environment Day 2025. On the course of this lecture series, we have come together to reflect on the pressing environmental challenges and explore meaningful solutions. We have had 5 lectures in the past 5 weeks. We have had thought-provoking discussion on harmful effects of microplastic and solid waste and its impact on the sustainable development goals, importance of conserving forests in the lens of literary contribution of beautification aranya, role of wetland as a solution of environmental problems, and other lectures as well. Today we have 3 lectures. Maintaining the spirit of interdisciplinarity. Our first lecture is by Dr. Bappi. She is from our university, from Department of Sociology. Our next two speakers are Ph.D. scholars from Department of Geography and Department of Botany. I would now like to request Dr. Bappi to start his presentation. He will be speaking on the topic, the cultural body of environmental mind, understanding the quantum entanglement of social energy. Dr. Bappi, kindly start your presentation.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Wishing you all a very good evening. Can I share my screen?
Please share.
Yes. Yeah, is it visible? Hello, sir. Am I audible and the screen is visible?
Yes, you are audible.
Can you confirm this?
Screen is also visible.
Okay.
Screen is also visible
Okay,
and you are audible.
thank you. So probably I have missed a little word. It's environmental mind, social energy. And in the proposal, it was understanding quantum entanglement of the social energy. However, the discussion would not be that much from again, wish you all a very good evening. And I'm from the Department of Sociology. And that is why, in essence, you find in my discussion very much related to the society, social and sociological as well. And I have brought heavily upon the fact which also very much closely related with the quantum mechanics and all. However, I'm not much about it. Still, let me try. And as the first slide, I would start with that kind of disclaimer, right? So let me start with this. I'd like to declare that the present discussion is not to be misunderstood with a disciplinary seminar or any sort of specific academic. It will be exchanging ideas and knowledge that can enhance and expand the understanding regarding the conceptualization and contextualization of the environment. And I have tried to draw a multidimensional method that has been extracted across disciplines to revisit the issues of environment and its epistemological stem. However, if but a new environmental knowledge that may alter the conventional approach to environmental protection and preservation.
Sorry sir, একটু ডিস্টার্ব করছি, শোনা যাচ্ছে না আপনার কথা ঠিকঠাক। হ্যালো,
শোনা যাচ্ছে
না? খুব নেটওয়ার্ক ইস্যু হচ্ছে, শোনা যাচ্ছে, কেটে যাচ্ছে।
একটু কেটে যাচ্ছে, একটু মাঝে মাঝে একটু কেটে যাচ্ছে।
এটা তো নেটওয়ার্ক ইস্যু, দেখি চেষ্টা করছি। So altogether, it is an effort to understand between these two spaces, and what I have said is to exert any certain rigidity or conformity, rather to welcome the flexibility and fluidity. So between these two spaces, the space of consciousness and the space of sensible nature and environment, which existing beneath our world of consciousness. So, trading this, let me start with
স্যার কিচ্ছু শুনতে পাচ্ছি না, একদম শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
শোনা যাচ্ছে না,
খুব কেটে যাচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা,
কেটে যাচ্ছে।
সবার ক্ষেত্রেই তাই?
হ্যাঁ, কেটে যাচ্ছে।
আমাদের ক্ষেত্রেও শোনা যাচ্ছে না। আমার মনে হয় যেখানে আছো একটু জায়গাটা চেঞ্জ করে দেখো, নেট কানেকশনটা বোধহয় প্রপার নেই একদম।
আচ্ছা, actually I'm talking from the department. আচ্ছা, আমি একবার আবার অন্য একটা ডিভাইস থেকে অ্যাড করে দেখছি।
প্রিয়াঙ্কা,
আচ্ছা এবার শোনা যাচ্ছে?
না না, বাপি যদি ওর নেট কানেকশন ঠিক থাকে তাহলে খুব ভালো, তাহলে ওর হয়ে যাক। কারণ গত দিনের মতো আমরা আগে পরের স্পিকার যদি রেডি থাকে।
আচ্ছা এবার শোনা যাচ্ছে কি?
হ্যাঁ, এবার ভালো শোনা যাচ্ছে বাপি, খুব ভালো শোনা যাচ্ছে।
ভেরি থ্যাংক ইউ। ঠিক আছে, তাহলে আমি আরেকবার ট্রাই করছি। একটু দেখো তো। এখানে এটা শেয়ার করবো, এটা স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করতে হবে। আচ্ছা, এখান থেকে খুলে যাবে মানে। হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা একবার কনফার্ম করবেন এবার দেখা যাচ্ছে কিনা। আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ভেরি সরি।
দেখা যাচ্ছে।
ভেরি সরি, আমি আরেকবার। So probably I have gone through the disclaimer. Acha, thank you. So what I was telling about the quantum society, to understand it, we may start it like that: the quantum process and computation of the physical and natural environment, and any sort of changes that are the input that creates and invokes the wave of multivariate possibilities, right, in the social environment as well. It energizes the social world and consequently contextualizes the social energy. I'll later on explain what the social energy actually mean. In such a context, the environmental process is in the state of superposition, and for the social environment and vice versa. Let's assume the quantum process in the environmental world not only vibrates the physical and environmental world, accordingly, it starts vibrating the individual and their behaviors. At the same time, it comes with multiple possibilities among individuals, groups, and communities, which broadly may be understood on the scale of rhythm and chaos. While it caused the common set of actions among individuals, that is the rhythmic output of social energy, and the impact that caused individuality, which may seem like chaos, is also the result of same source of environmental energetic superpositioning vibration. Hence, the mind people hold in their body is the environmental mind that constantly vibrates through the connecting waves and strings of the environmental happenings. Accordingly, the mind conditions the body people hold in their mind, and it may be understood as the body of the other end of the same processing waves and strings that now happen in that certain mind. This mind in rhythmic process creates the social values, moralities, and discourses. On the other hand, such an individual mind in a maximum position process creates this distinction, individuality, and personality. However, both forms are in constant engagement with each other through different social processes. These processes may be cooperation, conflict, bargaining, and even confirm possibilities of evolving many more such processes. Right? Hence, these processes are the actual field of energy that makes the communication and interaction among individuals possible. Right? Accordingly, I have tried to draw a diagram that would show this process, how it works, how gradually we established into the communication, if you see the screen. Accordingly, in the later part, a common phrase, man is a social animal. We all heard about it. While we commonly do understand the phrase, man is a social animal with multiple meanings, it bears, thousands of meanings. But at the same time, it also bears the meanings that we humans are not able to seize our movement. Or more specifically to say, the constant movement makes us human. Here, the movement signifies not only the physical movement of the being, it signifies the constant engagement with social processes that makes us becoming, and quote unquote becoming. And the process of becoming makes us living as well as social being. Hence, the movement for becoming the quote unquote living social being is the outcome and completion inevitably entangled with the environmental things and happenings. It may also trace from the distinctive interpretation in the philosophical discussion in the social sciences, idealism and materialism. Right? This discussion is not only interested in erecting the debate already we have between this idealism and materialism. Rather, it is inclined to establish a marriage between these two. Right? To understand this, I have put another diagram that would show that how the balancing conditions between idealism and materialism in human movement can be understood. If we see at the one side idealism, which signifies the constant engagement with social processes of the individuals and groups and peoples, and in case of materialism, which signifies that physical movement and the physical environment what we are practicing in our everyday life. And in doing so, let us move ahead with this heading with another diagram that how man is a social animal in terms of movement and social engagement can be understood. By putting this heading, human movement and social engagement, to this way, from the very starting of the movement, a tiny or a little bit of movement of the human, this movement signifies the social movement. This movement signifies the migration of the people. People are moving here and there with distinct set of contextualization, right? That how it leads to a certain kind of social engagement. And through this way, an individual becomes in the process of becoming. right? They becomes the living social being. And this is how, from the very environment, we are getting entangled. One side through the idea, other side through the matter. And in the conventional social science, this two gharana, what I would say gharana means traditions, is very much entangled already. And so there is no question of debate between these two, whether idea is first or matter is second, or whether matter is first or the idea is second, but both are at the same time. There is nothing starting, nothing the point of starts, and neither the point of end, right? Both evolves with the energy of entanglement. So that is why the present discussion trying to establish a kind of marriage between these two, established idea. So accordingly, I have claimed already in the title that the body we hold, it's the cultural body, and within that body we are living with a mind that is environmental mind. And how? Let me explain. So the vibration happenings in the natural environment, which you may tag with the conventional idea of materialism, and the vibration and changes we experience in the social environment, which can be tagged with the conventional idea of idealism, which energize us, which I have already told you. It makes our literal movement, right? Considering not us as just the piece of blood and flesh. It gives meaning to it. It gives meaning to the movement. It makes us social. It makes social, right? So, however, now such happenings, what we see in case of the natural happenings or the environmental happenings, the environment is not confined within the earthly arrangement, within the single planet of Earth. Let us understand it as something like that. These happenings like supernova explosion, black hole, wormhole, nebula, planetary movement, as in the environment like which we draw from the rain, flowering, right? Drought, flood, disaster, flowering, springs, earthquakes, weather, climate, and many things are there, which we usually identified as something environmental happenings, also takes place in the mind. And these two sides are very much entangled, right? Any changes in the climate, any kind of changes in the weather, any kind of happenings in the environment, just what we experiencing in the earthly, in this world, right? I'm claiming something more than that. But if we at least consider these happenings as something environmental happenings, it also takes place in the mind. It is very much entangled with our mind, right? A sudden flood, a sudden earthquake conditions us to move in a different directions. It can create several kind of compulsion. It may bring us to happiness, right? So in this mind, we just got as the result of environmental output, right? Whatever we are feeling, we are experiencing, all these are the result of environmental output in the form of desires, pleasures, sorrow, happiness, anxiety, anger, frustration, so a lot of things. And it starts vibrating us. It energized us to move here and there, to move in the society and make society possible, right? So I'm trying to understand these things. Communicate these things. So concerning this fact, claiming our activities, which eventually results in structuration of the society, functions, criticism as well, even the ideation to say more socially. If we say more socially, that is the experience of stratification, inequation, power control dynamicity, and everything would reduce to our understanding to a half condition, right? And this all would not exist without the other half of the string through which we are entangled with our environmental happenings. So how this entanglement can be understood? What I already said, through this diagram, I have tried to draw a path through which we have started from the environmental output. If we start from the environmental output where natural events occurs in the environment, that leads to the mental happiness. Not only happiness, it may also get with reverse position. This even triggers mental states of the individual, of group, of people, of communities, right? And that leads to the energize us and makes our movement possible, or possible in the sense makes happen our movement, right? So mental state also energize our action. That leads to entanglement confirmations, that the connection between the environment and mental event is confirmed to this point. And ultimately, we are experiencing social activities. Social activities are influenced by this entanglement, right? So now we start the quantum processing in the mind, and accordingly conditions our body. While it is under rhythmic process, we ensure the cultural body through common practices, beliefs, and rituals. And under the chaotic process, we ensure the individual body. What I was claiming that rhythmic and chaotic scale, now this is to materialize that while that environmental happenings conditions our mind, and through the quantum processing and quantum entanglement, that conditions as well our body, it expresses through two kinds of major process. One is under rhythmic process. This rhythmic processes materializes our common practices, beliefs, and rituals. And if it is chaotic, then we ensure the individualism. That individualism is expressed through the everyday representation we made, is also the constant negotiation between these two bodies, which again confirms their entanglement and superposition with multivariate possibilities, right? So if we now, while I'm saying about the movement, which is very much connected with the idea of freedom, so how these two aspects are related, environment and freedom. I have considered an approach of a Chinese philosopher, Lao Tse. He is not very much famous in that sense in this academic world, but in the spiritual practices, few peoples are accustomed with his idea, and who has developed the Taoism and Feng Shui, right, between the 5th and 6th centuries. According to him, we are not the body. It's the space within the body, which is the mind, and the soul is living within this free space, right? So inculcating this idea, the mind is always required to remain blank or free space. We need to have free space. We must be aware of the fact that we can't live in the space that is already full of stops, right? Full of several stops. Hence, the mind is always required to remain blank or free space, or should have the free space. It should be free from the thinking, thoughts that are not consciously evolved by us. Rather, those are evolved unconsciously, and hence those thoughts, theories, thinkings are uncontrollable to us and become the cause of our, lot of sufferings, right? We are sufferings not by just any other fact, but with our idea and thought and thinking process. So according to this, arguably, the idea of the environment should not be misunderstood as just like the walls of the room, right? We are not living in the walls, we are living in the room, right? Wall is not important. The important is that vacuum space where we can move freely, where we can enjoy our freedom, right? Where we would roam around, we'd be able to roam around, right? So nor it is the idea or thinking or thoughts that we exert upon for understanding the environment by our mind. It is not even the preoccupied cultural essence we behold as an environment that expresses through our beliefs, rituals, values, moralities, etc. Altogether, our bodily behavior, syncing and adapting to our nature and environment, all these are not the environment, right? It is not, all these are not the environment. The environment is beyond this understanding. It is neither the set of observable objects, nor is it our mind-produced idea and thoughts that objectivize the natural and environmental world. It is the space that allows us to enjoy freedom as the freedom we love and expect inside of us. It can be realized through the interaction we make with our surrounding environment. We create our environment, we create our universe, and we create us. That is the reality, what I am trying to communicate with you. So, how we have reduced our free space to belong? A little focus can make us realize, if you are following the screen, you might see the figure is there, which also try to show the same thing. The little focus can make us realize that how the free space of the environment constantly get reduced and squeezed in different forms, right? Already in different, several discussions prior today, we talked about plastics, solid waste, liquid waste, air pollution, sound pollutions, and a whole set of things. A lot of things, which alarmingly grows full of garbages like stuffs that actually reduces the free life, that actually reduces our space of movement, right? On the other hand, we lose the care of the environment that is nature to life, right? We are also the life, many lives of living creatures and also existing non-living. But if we just pick us as one of them, as one of the living being, one of the life, whom environment nurtured, whom environment cared, among which we are one, who is alone responsible for the greater portion of the degradation and harm of it, right? So therefore, considering the effort of survival of the environment on its own as a disaster is the garbage we produced in our mind, right? Often we see that environment also has a distinctive existence. It tries to save itself. It tries to, express its own gesture, right? And often we identified those things or those happenings as disaster. So this idea, I have considered as garbage we produced in our mind, right? Which needs to remain free and blank, right? What I was claiming in this last slide, right? At the same time, it is also expected to remind us of the violent deeds we have made to our environment. The disaster we produce in our minds, never. It is not the flood, it is not the drought, it is not the earthquake. It is the effort environment tries to save itself. Rather, disaster is where the disaster existing in our mind, right? We confront nature and the environment, not the environment that distributes disasters and calamities among us. We were never inclined to pursue how we can live with all its happenings. We exploit her, we degrade her, and we allege her, right? So this is the present slide. I'm specifically trying to express that how we are responsible, and we are very much used to this fact, and we are inclined to, we are trained to do that. We used to uglify the environment. We alleged the environment through, while all these happenings takes place, which we termed as disaster, right? We lose the care of the environment, that is nature to the life, what I was telling about. Let us take an example through which we uglify and guiltify the environment, right? By holding mental garbages and violent deeds, what we have made already in our mind, in our thinking, in our theories, in our beliefs, in our thoughts, in our everyday practice, right? The disaster, the disaster we produce in our minds, what I was telling, not the environment that distributes disasters and calamities among us. Let us understand how we would look into disaster in nature, right? Considering the effort of survival of the environment on its own as a disaster in the garbage we produced in our mind, which needs to remain free and blank. What I was, connected with the idea of, philosophy of Lao Tse at the same time. And let me put this question. While we termed any happenings as natural disaster, so that is why I have put this idea into bracket. We commonly, the disaster is a value-free idea, and within the bracket, I have tried to make you communicate, make you understand that natural disaster is the common popular term we used. So these two questions have conquered my mind. That have you ever thought about why the natural disaster is what we like to identify and understand as disaster? Or why we don't question it? What's wrong with considering it as a natural environmental happening, right? the disaster we called disaster, is it the disaster? It's the environment, it's the nature, it's the moment it beholds, it lives, it respirates, it blooms, it flowers, it flows, it spreads love, it spreads care, it spreads life. It's the existence. As much as we have walked through the path of civilization, we have learned to stigmatize and uglify more and more environmental expression and gesture. The less civilized society, in comparison, if we draw, the less civilized society is, the less the civilized the society is, the less the environmental happenings are getting stigmatized. We discard our role in this, we discard, however, what we have met, we discard our role in the creation of love. We disqualify the creation of affection. We disapprove the creation of life within us. Moreover, we tend to disqualify the way the environment and nature live, create and recreate. We misinterpreted it. We misunderstood it. We have created our own version of ideas, ideologies, thoughts, theories, and philosophies that goes against of it, right? And we tend to stop the environment, right? This is our tendency. We restrict its movement. We are, just what I have said a few slides earlier, that how this movement makes us social, how this movement makes possible the communication, but we are not ready to tolerate the movement. We are not ready to tolerate the happenings of the environment, and rather we tend to stop the environment. We restrict its movement. We disallow the nature to live and be lively. We tend to create a dead environment, a paralyzed nature through our distorted ideas, distheory, disthoughts, and accordingly we produce and spread the philosophy of disharmony and distress with the environment, consciously and unconsciously, right? So this figure also saying the same thing. So I have tried to, by drawing this figure, I have tried to communicate to you that how these reharmonizing with the environment can take place. So this is not to say to put an effort to disqualify our life by saying these earlier discussion. I'm not to say or not to disqualify our life. I'm not telling that you just stop your life or we should stop our life. It is to say, if you are in any way ready to accept the birth as an environmental happening, you can also make yourself ready to accept death as an environmental and natural phenomenon, right? Or natural happenings. It may, I hope so, that it may reduce your panic, fear, and distrust to the environment or distrust about the environment. It may reduce you to conditioning the environment, right? At least you would not be prone to legitimize your deeds upon which you blame the environment for its happening. We waged a war against the environmental happening. We are thrilled and love to do that. We love fooling the environment. Is that we want actually? We can't, just see the slide. I have tried to, go with the experience close to us. What have we made to river Ganga and Mahananda? That is very much closer to our existence or our residence or our, what should I say? Our locality, right? How that human actions have paralyzed the Ganga river. River Ganga is now suffering, right? And we are not ready to go with her flow, right? See the figure, you would probably understand how the apparent geopolitics is there. Yes, it's okay. The political factors influencing the river management, that is true, right? So we can't go with this flow of the river Ganga. Literally, we don't want to. Rather, we love to make her full by deploying our concretes on her chest and banks in summer. And again in monsoon, when the river banks, erosions and floods are taking place, we blame and allege her and legitimize many things. We need water to harvest. We need control over its flows, right? We need dam. We made one. Do you see how we paralyzed her, right? How she has been shrunk upon our allegation, what we have made her at every season, at every monsoon, while it is, it becomes the cause for the, homelessness of many people who resides at the side of the river banks, and after putting the dam in front of its flow, right? It may be the geopolitics, but standing at the dam and looking at the two sides, at the left and at the right, and right and the left, she is suffocating. She lost her body. She lost her beauty. She is crying. She is choked. She begs mercy from you. However, we write stories, novels, we sing songs, we read poems, and many more ways that how environment victimizes us. We play the victim card and validate and legitimizes our debts to her, right? So, another slides, how it works. I have tried to, how we disavow the environmental things. Ganga is the environment. Mahananda is the environment. What we have made them, right? So is that the environment we talk about, right? We abandoned her. We are such a tiki bang that we have waged war against the environment and want to win by taking away the weapon of the environment, right? We taken away her strength by stopping her flow, natural flow, by putting the dam, right? So I must say we imperialized the environment. We demand her cessation and control. We have chosen ourselves as the emperor against the environment, right? Just like the colonialist. On the other side, the sophistication we bear is the demand to decorate the riverside. See how tricky we are with flowering and gardening, parks, playgrounds, as if the environment has to learn beautification from us. We have made bath roads. We walk through there, Bath Road, all know that, Bath Road in Malda, and put musics and do works, do evening works, morning works. We exercise out there. That's fantastic. We invaded, we seized, we conquer. That they are no more wild. Yes, we are happy now. Mahananda is no more wild. Ganga is no more wild. Now we got the civilized Ganga. We civilized them. We got the civilized Mahananda. Right? So this is what we have made, right? You will consider natural all your actions that kills the environment day by day, at every bit of moment, right? So what can be done? And personally, you may say, I have put some, you may say there's my emotions that I would strongly recommend sensitizing you all that we are all environment. We are all environment, right? I would pray to you to remove all sorts of unfreedom and constraints that you have put against our environment nature. I'd like to beg you to take care and love of your environment. I strongly would love to believe that you are living in an environmental body that only spaces the cultural mind in a way that helps the environment grow environmentally and naturally, right? This is the happenings while we become colonizers, just like from the West, who thought that they were responsible for making us civilized. Same thing we are making to our environment. Right? We declare to make our environment civilized, as if, what I already said, as if the environment should be submissive and we are the dominant one. We live in this hierarchy, we live this stratification. Otherwise, you would exclusively remain the creator of such an universe that legitimizes, approves, and legalizes the cessation of the environment and its survival. And that is why I told you that you will consider natural all your actions you consider as natural, that kills the environment at every bit of moment, right? You'd create and employ dams, seizing flows of the river, right? And you accumulate uranium and nuclear threat and realize it is a matter of safety. You edit and alter genes of bioorganisms and would consider biowarfare as something that is expected. Is that the environment you talk about? Is that natural? against of this, I have put few questions. Right? Are not we able to help a river to flow with its nature? Is that really what we must bend it for the sake of our apparent good? Are we not really able to remain thankful in responding to nature for what we have already received? Can't we celebrate it every day and night? Don't we really like to live with the ups and downs of the environment that happen environmentally and naturally? Don't we behold the same environment within us? Right? So if it is so, if all these answers goes negative, then why do authors romanticize like the ঝড়ের রাত, ভোরের যৌবনের উথাল পাতাল নদীর ঢেউ, বিপ্লবীর রক্তের ন্যায় লাল ফুল, শুকনো পাতার মর্মর, and many more such things? All these metaphorically we have accumulated from the environment and decorated our lives, decorated our writings, our discourses, our speech. But we are not ready to accept its gesture, expression, its happenings as something nature. We have to seize it. We have to stop it. Right? This is the idea. This is the theory we have evolved to the present century. All such metaphors are using that which belongs to the environmental happenings. But we are not ready to live with those happenings. We pick, we use, we unacknowledge. We are ready to accept a few parts that we define as good for us, but not the whole. This is how we become selfish lovers of the environment. Moreover, fooling, tricking, and alleging the environment would be the great disaster. Now I'm telling you, this would be the great disaster we are making in the present century. Therefore, it's the time to realize the glitch we have in our mind, in our body, in our culture, that seizes and controls the environment. It's time to remove the negative social energy that caused disharmony and disentanglement of us with the environment. Hence, we are in the necessity to reconceptualize the environment. Unlearning the existing knowledge and redefining the version of the learning environment is an utmost necessity in the present. Therefore, the present discussion in its argument itself urges us to realize the entanglement with the environment that we have already. This argument would like to beg to remove all sorts of control and unfreedom and domination we have lodged, legalized, legitimized, and normalized against the environment. So, again, in the last slide, let me have another disclaimer, right? I'm sorry, but still I would like to end with this disclaimer that probably I have a few minutes. I'm trying to wrap up within 5 minutes.
Yes, we can take some time.
Thank you, Dada. So lastly, this is the last slide and my last things to say, that I would also like to admit that this discussion is not to exert any specific solution to the environment. I am incapable of it. Rather, I would like to admit that it would like to encourage unlearning all the disentangled solutions, what we all already have garbaged our mind with, so that the entanglement could appear by evolving within us and bring itself a bag of multiple possibilities, which we would swear to gladly accept. Eventually, we would be able to create a space-time that brings the future to us. Right? We don't need the necessity to create our future, to condition our future, to plan our future, to politicize our future. Rather, I would support to bring. I would support to that would help environment to create a space-time that brings the future to us. And this is the reality, actually. The future works to us. We don't need to create our futures. More specifically, our future will write our present and make our history, make our glorified history. It's not necessary that we are approaching, caring, and nurturing to the environment by being in our distorted present. It's the environment from the future already entangled with our present and cascading care, rear, and nurture to us to be acknowledged, right? So I'm in the hope we must do these things. We would realize the entanglement already we are feeling, we are living. So this is all about my discussion. I'm telling you, it's not the presentation, it's my all the feelings what I have shared with you regarding with my mother nature or my environment, right? And we are responsible to which we create our universe, we create us, we are the creator of ourselves. Just I am praying to you to realize this. So thank you all, thank you for being for for the whole hour. Wishing you a ton of thanks for bearing with me. Thank you all. Thank you, host.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bappi, for such an illuminating lecture of for sharing your feelings with us.
Thank you.
Dr. Bappi spoke about how cultural practices and collective consciousness are deeply interconnected with environmental awareness, forming a shared field of influence. Drawing on the metaphor of quantum entanglement, it suggests that social energy manifested through norms, rituals, and behavior simultaneously shaped and it's shaped by ecological realities. If there is any question or request for clarification from the audience, please feel free to it seems there is no question. Then there is one announcement as well. Our third speaker, Ganapati Basak from Department of Botany, will not be able to present today. There seems to be a miscommunication. We did not know you are supposed to present today. So if there are no further questions on Dr. Bappi's presentation, then I would like to invite our last speaker, Priyanka Gogoi, Ph.D. scholar from Department of Geography, to begin her presentation. She will be presenting on the topic Climate Change and Drought, a perspective on crop trees. Priyanka, kindly start your presentation.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, sir. Shall I start?
Yeah. No, your screen is not visible. Your screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. Sir, is it visible now?
Now it is visible.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Good evening, respected teachers and my fellow researchers. I am Priyanka Gogoi, Ph.D. scholar of Department of Geography. Today, my presentation will be about climate change and drought, a perspective on crop yield. According to Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is the statistically significant variation in either the mean state of the climate or in its variability persisting for an extended period, typically decades or longer. That means climate change denotes shifts in weather patterns like temperature and rainfall for prolonged period. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, but a global crisis for which urgent action is required. Effects of climate change includes rapid and widespread warming due to greenhouse gas emissions, which have warmed Earth by 1.1 degrees Celsius, and since 1901, 2024 was recorded as the warmest year for India. Heavy downpours are 30% more intense and droughts are also worsening. Drought frequency has also increased in northwest India, Jharkhand, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh. Sea levels are rising at 3.3 millimeter per year, which poses a great threat to coastal areas and their livelihoods. 67% retreat of Himalayan glaciers are seen affecting water supplies of major rivers like Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Indus. Warming at 2 degrees Celsius can cause up to 18% of land species extinction and 99% of coral reef extinction. Animals like cheonophiles are under severe threat. Crop yields are declining, small farmers are suffering, vector-borne diseases like dengue, malaria are rising. Number of climate refugees are also increasing. Mental stress cases are rising due to heat stress. Compound risks are generating through interaction between multiple risks like heat plus drought, resulting in compounding effects on food, water, and human well-being. Tipping points are Earth's thresholds where a small change can lead to irreversible shifts like ice sheet loss and coral reef die-off. One of the most common and devastating effects of climate change is drought. According to IPCC, drought is a period of abnormally dry weather long enough to cause a serious hydrological imbalance. In simple words, drought is a period of low to no rainfall leading to shortage of water. Not just that, drought also evidences instances of rising temperature. Drought can be categorized into meteorological drought caused due to insufficient rainfall, hydrological drought when water resources are incapable of meeting water requirements, agricultural drought related to soil moisture conditions, and socio-economic drought when shortage of water impacts society and its economy. Droughts can have complex consequences like ecosystem disruption, malnutrition, disturbances in energy production, but here we will try to understand its impact on crop. In drought conditions, due to reduce transpiration, plants reduces photosynthesis, limiting their carbon dioxide intake, thus leading to stunted plant growth. Dry soil can limit nutrient mobility. Weak plants become more susceptible to pests and diseases. Drought reduces biomass accumulation, thus reducing yield components. Drought co-occurs with extreme heat and amplifies damage and plant mortality. Drought also reduces soil moisture and seed germination. Drought and delayed monsoon shortens growing season for crops. Due to drought stress, many crops shed flowers and immature fruits. International organizations like FAO and IPCC have addressed the problem of crop yield decline due to drought, where according to FAO, 34% of crop and livestock losses are seen in least, low and middle income countries due to drought. And according to IPCC, most drought affected crops are wheat, maize, rice, soybean. And future projections show yield reductions up to 25 to 50%. Here I have used few research articles as examples to show the effect of drought on crop yield. This study in Spain shows the effect of drought on two rain-fed crops, wheat and barley, using different drought indices. It has been found here that drought severity has significantly reduced productivity of both the crops. An increasing frequency of drought strongly correlates with declining crop productivity for most of the drought indices. In another article by Ray et al., effects of drought are studied on both crop production and cropping area. Here it is found that drought reduced both crop yield and cropping area in Texas, especially during the 2011 drought year. Rain-fed crops showed lower yields compared to irrigated crops. While cotton and wheat were more sensitive to drought, sorghum was the least affected crop due to drought. In this article published from our lab, impact of drought was measured through crop water demand and crop water satisfied degree. Here it has been found that the average crop water demand is 1.92 meter and the crop water satisfied degree is averagely 59%, indicating moderate fulfillment of demand. And about 71% of the area is under significant water scarcity. Paddy demands the highest crop water demand among vegetable, pulses, and oilseeds. In another article where a district named Tikamgarh is studied, it is evident that drought and crop yield are highly correlated. During no drought year, the map appears greener, indicating well-flourished vegetation, whereas during severe drought year, the scenario is changed. Only scattered to low dense vegetation can be seen. In this article, drought vulnerability mapping was done in Jharkhand to identify drought-prone areas in Jharkhand. It is visible that districts like Bokaro, Chhatra, Deoghar, Garhwa, Giridih, and Jamtara face very high vulnerability, whereas districts like East Singhbhum, Khunti, Latehar, Lohardaga, Ranchi, and Saraikela Kharsawa showed low to very low vulnerability. And not only that, it is also noticeable that the crop yield of rice shows significant reductions in drought-prone districts during drought hit year 2009 to 2010, which is less than 500 kg per hectare, whereas the crop yield of rice is much more, that is more than 500 kg per hectare in non-drought-prone districts. So in conclusion, we can say that drought is significant stressor affecting agricultural productivity worldwide. It is not just a localized phenomena limited to arid regions. In severely drought-affected areas, irrigation can help stabilize yields. As climate change is projected, sustainable agricultural practices using drought-tolerant crops and using water efficiently can minimize its effect. Thank you. Sir? Sir? Sir?
প্রিয়াঙ্কা, তুমি তো খুব ভালো প্রেজেন্ট করেছো। আমি
Thank you, sir.
খুব ভালো, খুব ইনফরমেটিভ।
Thank you, sir.
আমি জানি না এখানে কোঅর্ডিনেট যিনি করছেন হয়তো কোনো টেকনিক্যাল ইস্যুতে হয়ে গেছে। তো আমি আমার জাস্ট একটা দুটো, আমি সোশিয়োলজি ডিপার্টমেন্টের,
হ্যাঁ স্যার বলুন।
তো প্রিয়ন্ত।
হ্যাঁ, এবার শুনতে পাচ্ছ না আচ্ছা কি?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, মানে ওই আর কি, প্রিয়াঙ্কা খোঁজ করছিল, আমি সে কারণে তুমি বলে নাও, তোমারটা সমাপ্ত করে দাও।
Acha, okay. Thank you, Priyanka, for the excellent presentation.
Thank
She
you, sir.
spoke about how rising global temperature and shifting rainfall patterns are intensifying the frequency and severity of the droughts. These changes directly impact crop growth, productivity, and food security, particularly in the vulnerable agricultural region. Understanding this relationship is crucial for developing adaptive strategies to ensure sustainable farming and resilient food system. Once again, if the audience has any questions or need clarification, please feel free to ask. অনিন্দ্যদা, আপনার একটা প্রশ্ন আছে মনে হয়, আপনি?
না, আমার ঠিক প্রশ্ন না, মানে আমার তো এটা প্রশ্ন না, আমি ওর কাছ থেকে অনেক কিছু মানে যেটাগুলো ও খুবই, মানে অ্যামালগামেশনটা খুব ভালো হয়েছে। আমি তোমার যেটা প্রিয়াঙ্কা ছিল, টাইটেল ছিল যে ড্রাউট কি করে আর কি আমাদের ক্রপ প্রোডাকশনটাকে এফেক্ট করছে ক্লাইমেট চেঞ্জের কারণে। বিভিন্ন
হ্যাঁ,
দেশে টেম্পারেচার বাড়ছে, কোনো দেশে টেম্পারেচার মানে নর্মালের থেকে, এগুলো মানে তুমি অ্যাজ এ সায়েন্টিস্ট এবং তুমি এর ডেঞ্জারটা বুঝতে পারছো, সে কারণেই তুমি আমাদের কর্নান দিচ্ছ এবং তুমি ডেটা দিয়ে দেখাচ্ছ যে উই আর হেডিং টুয়ার্ডস সেলফ ডিস্ট্রাকশন বেসিক্যালি।
Yes, sir. হ্যাঁ,
কিন্তু
sir.
অ্যাজ এ সায়েন্টিস্ট ইজ অলসো আ ফিলসফার, এটা আমার ধারণা। এবং সায়েন্টিস্ট সে যখন সায়েন্টিফিক পরীক্ষাগুলো করে, বিভিন্ন পেপারে কমিউনিকেট করে, লোককে জানায়, একাডেমিক্স এর মধ্যে থাকে, আফটার অল সেই সায়েন্টিস্টও কিন্তু তার সোসাইটির মধ্যে তার একটা জায়গা ভীষণভাবেই রয়েছে আর পাঁচজন মানুষের মতো। হি ইজ নট অর শি ইজ নট অ্যান আইসোলেটেড পার্সন। আমার বক্তব্য হচ্ছে এই যে যা যা ক্লাইমেট চেঞ্জ থেকে শুরু করে যা যা হচ্ছে পৃথিবীতে, যা যা গ্লোবাল ওয়ার্মিং এর বলো বা বিভিন্ন জায়গার সি লেভেলের ওয়াটার লেভেল বাড়ছে কমছে, বিভিন্ন স্পিসিস গুলো এক্সটিংক্ট হয়ে যাচ্ছে বিভিন্ন ভাবে, এর পেছনে মানে আমি এটা তোমাকে কখনোই বলবো না যে এটা তোমার এরিয়া, স্টিল তুমি কি মনে করো যে ইকোলজি বলতে আমরা যেটা বোঝাই, এই ইকোলজি সম্পর্কে আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিংটা আমাদের কাছে এখনো ক্লিয়ার নয়? এক, দু নম্বর হচ্ছে এর পেছনে যে একটা অন্য রকমের একটা অন্য ধরনের একটা বোঝাপড়া আছে, এই যে নেচারকে ডিস্ট্রয় করার মধ্য দিয়ে একটা মানে একটা ধরনের ওয়েলথ অ্যাকুমুলেশনের প্রশ্ন রয়েছে, একটা মোড অফ প্রোডাকশনকে রান করানোর প্রশ্ন রয়েছে। এই ব্যাপারটা তোমাকে অ্যাজ এ সায়েন্টিস্ট বা একজন সায়েন্সের স্কলার হিসেবে তোমার এর পেছনে মানে এই বিষয়ে কি কোনো বক্তব্য আছে? This is totally another part of your presentation, and if you want, তুমি এটা লিভও করতে পারো।
না স্যার, অবশ্যই মানে এই ক্লাইমেট চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে, এই যে ড্রট হচ্ছে, টেম্পারেচার এত বেশি রাইজ করছে, এর পিছনে তো অবশ্যই যে প্রাইমারি ফ্যাক্টরগুলো আছে তার মধ্যে অ্যানথ্রোপোজেনিক রিজনগুলো সব থেকে বেশি। আমরা অ্যাজ এ হিউম্যান সব থেকে বেশি রেসপন্সিবল এই সেলফ ডিস্ট্রাকশনের জন্য।
কারেক্ট। সেটাকে কি মানে এইগুলো তো আমরা বলেই যাচ্ছি, তুমি বলছো, আমি বলছি, সবাই বলছি, তা সত্ত্বেও এটাকে কন্ট্রোল তো করা যাচ্ছে না। তাহলে কি মানে এটার পেছনে অন্য ধরনের একটা মার্কেট ইকোনমি, অন্য ধরনের একটা জায়গা তৈরি হচ্ছে? আমি বারবার বলছি দিস ইজ নট ইউর ফিল্ড, কিন্তু অ্যাজ এ সায়েন্টিস্ট অ্যাজ ওয়েল অ্যাজ এট দ্য সেম টাইম সায়েন্টিস্ট আর মোর অফ আ ফিলসফার দ্যান আ ফিলসফার। তো সে কারণেই যেহেতু সায়েন্টিস্টরা একজন বড় দার্শনিক বলে আমার মনে হয়, তো এই দিকটাও কি তোমাদের একটু, এই ব্যাপারেও কি একটু কোনোভাবে কিছু করার জায়গা আছে?
স্যার, আমার তো মনে হয় যে সচেতনতা মানে অ্যাওয়ারনেস ছাড়া আমরা নিজেরা করতে পারি প্র্যাকটিস, আর সেলফ অ্যাওয়্যার হতে পারি, লোককে অ্যাওয়্যার করতে পারি, এটাই আমরা করতে পারি।
Fine, thank you, Priyanka, giving me the opportunity to talk with her, the presenter. And Bappi তো খুব ভালো বলেছে, it is my colleague. Bappi philosophically জায়গাটাকে ধরেছে, ফলে আমি খুবই ভালো লেগেছে।
থ্যাংক ইউ অনিন্দদা, খুব রেলিভেন্ট একটা প্রশ্ন করেছেন, আমাদের প্রত্যেকেরই এটা নিয়ে ভাবার খুব প্রয়োজন আছে। ওকে, is there any other question from the audience?
Thank you.
Since there is no further question, if there is any question for Bappi also, then also you can actually ask. Since today we do not have any more session, any more lectures, so we can actually take a few more time to discuss about these two presentation. Since there is no question, so if there is no question, we will now conclude. As we conclude today's session, let us take forward not just the knowledge, but also a renewed sense of responsibility, because the spirit of World Environment Day is not limited to just one day or one event. It is a continuous commitment to protect, restore, and live in harmony with nature. Big thank you to our distinguished speakers, our enthusiastic audience, and everyone who were there, worked behind the scene. Thank you and take care. With this, we are concluding today's session. Thank you all.